You've been manipulated before, probably today, maybe by a boss, a brand, or that friend who always forgets their wallet. Manipulation isn't rare, it's the default language of people who want power without earning it. And the worst part? It works because it plays on the things that make you human: empathy, guilt, and the need to be liked. So, let's break down the world's most common control tactics, how they trick your brain, and how to spot the moment someone starts pulling your strings. Gaslighting, the art of reality rewriting. Gaslighting is psychological malware. It doesn't erase your memories, it just corrupts the files. It starts small. You say, "We agreed to meet at 6. They say, "No, you said 7. Now you're questioning your memory and sanity instead of their honesty. Gaslighting's goal isn't to win an argument. It's to own your perception. If they can make you doubt your memory, they don't have to change the truth. They can just replace it. The term comes from the 1938 play Gaslight, where a husband dims the lights in their home and tells his wife she's imagining it. Over time, she stops trusting her senses and starts trusting him. That's the trick. Chip away at confidence until reality feels like a group project you no longer lead. Before long, you're apologizing for things you didn't do and fact-checking your own sanity. If you've ever said, "Maybe I'm overreacting," but you've already heard gaslighting whispering in your ear. Guilt tripping, emotional debt collection. Guilt tripping is manipulation with manners, psychological blackmail, wrapped in politeness. Instead of saying, "I'm upset you didn't call," they say, "I guess you're too busy for me now." Translation: I can't control your actions, so I'll control your conscience. Guilt trips work because humans hate emotional debt. We want to fix things, even when it's not our job. So, when someone hands you guilt, you carry it, thinking it's empathy. But here's the trick. They're not looking for understanding. They're looking for obedience. Soon, you're doing things just to keep the peace. But that's not peace. That's emotional extortion with better branding. It's like paying someone else's credit card bill because they cried about the late fee. And once you start paying, they'll keep swiping until your self-worth is maxed out. Love bombing, the fast track to control. Love bombing is the emotional version of a flash sale. Intense, exciting, and designed to make you buy fast. At first, it feels like you've met your soulmate. They text nonstop, call you the one, send flowers, gifts, playlists, the works. It's intoxicating. You feel chosen. But that's the trick. You're not being loved. You're being overloaded. They're pushing the fast-forward button on intimacy because connection is leverage. Once you're hooked on the dopamine rush, they pull back. Now you're chasing the high, not the person. You think it's love, but it's withdrawal. Love bombing isn't romance. It's control disguised as chemistry. A psychological subscription plan that starts free and renews at the cost of your self-worth. Passive-aggressiveness, the coward's form of control. Passive-aggressiveness is hostility dressed in politeness. It's when someone wants to hurt you, but still look nice doing it. They won't confront you directly. They'll just weaponize tone, timing, and accidents. The missed text, the backhanded compliment, the forgot to invite you moment that feels a little too convenient. It's emotional warfare with plausible deniability. They get to act cruel, then act confused when you call it out. You'll hear lines like, "Oh, I didn't mean it that way." Wow, someone's sensitive. Or the classic, "I was just joking." Passive-aggressiveness is the manipulator's version of gaslighting light. They create tension, then make you feel crazy for noticing it. It works because it keeps them in control while avoiding accountability. You look dramatic, they look calm, and they get to feel superior without ever saying what they actually mean. But here's the truth. People who hide daggers in politeness aren't being clever. They're being cowards. Because real strength isn't silence with a smile. It's saying what you mean without needing to twist the knife. The silent treatment, weaponized absence. The silent treatment looks harmless, but it's communication's nuclear option. One day, everything's fine. The next, you're talking to a ghost that's still alive. They don't yell, they don't argue, they just vanish. No texts, no eye contact, not even a reaction emoji. You start spiraling. Did I do something wrong? Should I apologize? That's the point. Silence isn't absence. It's pressure. You fill the silence with guilt until you hand over your peace just to make it stop. The human brain hates uncertainty more than pain, and manipulators know it. So they turn absence into ammunition. They don't have to win the argument. They just have to make you miss the sound of them losing it. Triangulation. Divide, distract, conquer. Triangulation is manipulation gone multiplayer. Picture a triangle. You, them, and a third person. Now imagine strings connecting everyone. And they're the one holding them. Instead of solving conflict directly, they drag someone else in. They twist the story, recruit allies, stir the pot. Suddenly, you're not solving a problem. You're defending your reputation. Triangulation works because humans crave validation. They weaponize that craving to control the narrative. It's how toxic coworkers rise fast, how abusers isolate partners, and how corporations keep employees competing instead of uniting. If conflict is oxygen for growth, triangulation is carbon monoxide. You won't notice it's killing trust until the room's already gone quiet. Projection, the blame boomerang. Projection is emotional dodgeball. They throw their problems at you and call it feedback. They cheat. You're untrustworthy. They lie. You're manipulative. They're just swapping the mirror for a spotlight. It's self-defense by self-deception. They can't face their own flaws. So they hand you the flashlight and make you the villain. If someone's accusations feel wildly off base, you might not be hearing their opinion. You might be hearing their confession. Blame shifting, the accountability illusion. Blame shifting is the magician's version of lying. The mistake disappears, and you're left wondering how it happened. They mess up. Somehow, it's your fault for not stopping them. They're chaos, your cleanup. Blame shifting works because empathy is a shortcut to compliance. You take responsibility just to make it stop. But it's not resolution. It's redirection. It's emotional hot potato. And you're the only one getting burned. Playing the victim. Sympathy as strategy. When manipulation fails, there's always one last move. Pity. They mess up. And suddenly, they're the ones who've been wronged. They weaponize empathy, because if they cry first, they control the narrative. It's psychological judo, using your compassion to throw you off balance. You end up comforting the person who hurt you, but the pain only shows up when they're losing control, because the professional victim doesn't want healing. They want an audience. Stonewalling. The brick wall defense. Stonewalling is silence with an agenda. They don't want peace. They want power. You talk. They don't. You reach out. They pull away. It's emotional starvation. And every second of quiet is a reminder of who's in control. Because when connection becomes currency, the one withholding it is always rich. Mirroring, the copycat connection. Mirroring feels flattering, but it's not admiration. It's imitation. They talk like you, move like you, believe what you believe. It feels like chemistry, but it's just compatibility theater. They're not bonding, they're building. A version of themselves custom-made to gain your trust. It's not connection, it's collection. They're mining your identity until they can use it against you. Love withdrawal. Emotional blackmail in slow motion. One day, they're warm. The next, cold. Affection becomes currency. Every hug, every text, every "I love you" now has a price tag. They're training you to associate love with compliance, to chase comfort by giving up boundaries. It's not affection, it's conditioning. And once you learn that lesson, they never have to say a word again. Manipulation isn't always loud. It doesn't need shouting, gaslighting, or guilt tripping. It just needs you to stop trusting your own reflection. Every tactic has one purpose: to rewrite your reality until you forget it was ever yours. But here's the truth. You can't be manipulated by what you see clearly, because the second you name the pattern, it loses power. So when someone starts twisting words, turning tables, or playing saint and victim in the same breath, remember this: you're not crazy. You're just finally seeing the script. Now you know. Don't stop there. Subscribe for more.